What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. You know the drill. My name is Paul. This is the Leeds Therapy, and this is my instant, shall we say, kind of instant, big match review. So, Leeds have walked away from their final home game of the season, 1-0 winners against Brighton. And if ever there was a game that poetically describes our season, that was 100% it. When you look at it, because the defence in that game was absolutely sublime. And I mean that genuinely, absolutely sublime. Biel was an absolute was just in, around, everywhere, doing what he needed to do. The tackle from Rodon right at the end, the absolute booting of a tackle that he did was fantastic to watch. Darlow, what a keeper's game that was. He is genuinely my man in the match for that game. And what I will say about that is that his positioning and his positional sense really came good in today's game, just in terms of where he was, what he did, the way that he distributed the ball, the way that he gathered the ball. The save at the end of the first half is just, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting how he manages to palm that round the post. Unbelievable save. And this is why I say, in terms of the defence was brilliant, because if your defensive midfield doesn't get it, you want your defenders to then get it. If your defender doesn't get it, your keeper is the last line of defence, and your keeper is the one that should be gathering up the ball. And my God, did he gather up that ball today. What an unbelievable performance from Darlow. It wasn't just that he was making incredible saves. That's not the reason why I'm advocating for this. It was the fact that everything that he did was just his positioning, his control of the ball, his movement, his gathering of the ball, his coming for the ball towards the end of the game as well, coming and just coming through a crowd of people and getting the ball was brilliant. The punch towards the end, fantastic. Everything about what Darlow did was a first-class keeper display as far as I'm concerned. Backed up by the defence, obviously. If we were to have to give it to an outfield player, I'd give it to Biel every day of the week. But it just, poetically, that game describes everything about our season. Just the never give up, never say die attitude. We've got half of our players out with injury. Stack goes off with an injury. I hope he's going to be okay, actually. Stack goes off with an injury, but they find a way, that's the mark of a team. Not necessarily a good team, but a team. That's the mark of a team that has the ability to soak up the pressure, stop things from happening, and when the moment arrives, be switched on. Just be absolutely switched on for the ball that's going to come in. In terms of performances on and off the pitch, everybody I thought was really, really good. I thought in the first half that James was good in terms of his just running the channel. He looked a little bit more on it than what he did previously. I thought Tanaka was good. I thought... oh God, who else? Just Stack. I mean, Stack is just levels above everybody else as far as I'm concerned. So Stack was absolutely brilliant. Just everybody was good. Rodon, Biel, Bornau, by the way, who never ever plays a game, looked very, very assured, very, very fast, and just did everything correct like he needed to do. I thought overall, what we did, we controlled the game very well. We let Brighton have the ball, but without them really having to massively test us. I can only think of a couple of occasions where they got into us in the first half and in the second half as well, where we were really called upon. But you had defenders putting bodies on the line, you had defenders making challenges, you just getting in the way and just making everything awkward, which was really, really, really pleasing to see. Second half, they clearly had a bollocking, Brighton, in the second half, because they were about 10 or 15% quicker in the second half, and it showed a little bit. Just we were struggling to get onto the ball. It was very much Whereas the first half very much felt like an end of season game. The second half, Brighton turned it up a little bit, and it was getting tough. So the 3 substitutions came in. So that was Longstaff, that was Metcher, and also Nonto, and was also Nonto as well, which I know why it was done. It was just to ease a little bit of pressure on us and just to give us Tanaka, whilst having a very, very good half, was just struggling a little bit to find his feet. And Longstaff in there does very, very well, does exceptionally well in terms of just being there to get the ball back and play a little ball in and out. And we started to wrestle control a little bit more of the actual game itself. And I don't mean in terms of pressure and us attacking. It was very much a midfield battle, and we did seem to just start to control it a little bit more. They brought on Jorginho, who obviously got a very, very good reception and was clearly told that he's Leeds, and he knows he is. There was a lot of little wry smiles off of him as well. And they brought on, I forget what the guy, Gomez? Is it Gomez? I don't know, but they brought on that player. And instantly he had a shot that whistled over the bar, so no big deal, realistically speaking. But overall, the thing that you want to do, if you're going to be soaking up pressure like we did within a game, what you have to have the ability to do is you need to be able to, at the moment where a mistake is made by the opposition team, you have to be there ready to pounce on it. And Calvert-Lewin, boy, was he ready to pounce on it. Sam Byram, who got a final 13 minutes of the game, really good to see. Played a ball up the channel, which can't remember. It wasn't Dunk who got it. It was the other centre back that got it, and he tried to play like a blind back pass, and he scuffed it a little bit. But Calvert-Lewin was awake to it. I don't know where he finds that burst of speed from at times, but he was awake to it. Got to the ball first, rounded the keeper, and that finish, by the way, is so harder than what people think it actually is. And he slots it away with absolute aplomb. His daughter, by the way, is the cutest little thing. She was running around all over the pitch at the end. Brilliant to see. And that's our free striker with his 15th goal of the season in his debut season. So he has now equalled Becchio's record in his debut season. So if he can score against West Ham, who are currently 2-0 down against Newcastle, by the way, he can then have the record outright by himself, which would be incredible for, again, a free signing. He's paid to score goals. My God, has he scored goals this season? Just unbelievably good. And then we obviously had to soak up a bit of pressure for the final 2 or 3 minutes, which we did. And again, people putting bodies on the line, people putting tackles in. You had, Darlow coming and claiming the ball, getting clattered by everybody, but still holding on to that ball. You can clearly see the boy wants a new contract. I'm all here for it, by the way, wants a new contract. And just overall, the game itself genuinely was just an absolute, figuratively speaking, thing of how our games have gone this season, where we've had to soak up the pressure, we've had to do everything right as a team, and then we've had to score the goals when mistakes have been made. And we never give up. We've never just dropped our heads. That as well, in terms of when you look at the performance in reverse against Brighton, was streets apart. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant to a man. And just, it's so much easier to be overly positive when we win the game. But that's just us down to a T. 47 points in our first season back. Sunderland beat Everton 3-1 today as well. So there's a lot to be said for two promoted teams this season doing as well as what we have done. And a little word for the Brighton supporters. Jesus Christ, you are appallingly bad. You'd start off a chant and it'd last about 3 seconds. And then we got into trouble with homophobic chants. But straight away you get into tragedies chanting, and it doesn't help yourself. And I abhor tragedy chanting. I think it's one of the worst things that you can do. And it happened 2 or 3 times within quick succession. So, yeah. you've got crap away fans and you decide to tragedy chant, and it's just I can't stand it. I can't stand the homophobic chants either. That does my head in as well. But just they were terrible. They'd start a chant and within 3 seconds they'd stop. Literally for 20 seconds of 20 seconds for 20 minutes of the second half or the first half, towards the end of the first half, they were silent pretty much. Which I just, yeah, weird, absolutely weird. But it is what it is. I'm over the moon. That's fantastic. We now go into the next game, the final game of the season. We want the 3 points. If we can get the 7 for 9 points, if we can end up on 50 points for the season, that's just, for us, that's absolutely incredible and right where we want to be. And I think it's important to note as well that the crowd were screaming for Daniel Farke. And I mean screaming for Daniel Farke massively. He said a few words at the end as well when he came out. And I'm just remembering as well that I nearly passed out when we scored. I saw spots again because I got too overly excited. But he came out and he said a few words, but at the end of it is that he said, I can promise you one thing, that they are, this team will never, something like this team will never give up, and that they're trying to improve the team for the better. So, interesting comments by him. Also as well, Tim Sherwood's come out and said that he's hearing whispers that they're not overly happy with him. I don't know where Tim Sherwood gets his information from, because he's about as plugged in to Leeds United as my granddad, and my granddad's been dead for 20 years. So Tim Sherwood, shut up. Absolutely shut up. Panellists these days don't know their arse from their elbow. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to do it for this one, guys. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please click the like button. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Turn your notifications on. Comment on the video if you want to as well. If you're listening to the audio version of this, make sure you're liking the audio for me as well. That would be greatly appreciated. Right, I need to go and calm down and to have a cup of tea. That would be great. Thank you so much for your time. Take care of each other. Most importantly, please take care of yourself. And I'll see you on the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Take it easy. Cheers.